Check one, check two. We're live, we're live, we're live, we're live. We're live. Welcome, everybody. How you doing? Good morning, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Marcus Conte reporting on what a weekend in media. All right, Donald Trump on fire. Donald Trump is on fire in a good way. It looks like he did a Madison Square Garden appearance, right? I think the last time I was in Madison Square Garden might have been for maybe Bruce Springsteen a long time ago. I haven't been there in a long time. Or maybe a Ranger game. I think perhaps a Ranger game. But Donald Trump took over Madison Square Garden. The good Jim Dolan, the owner of the garden, opened up the door, and 20,000 people screaming, yelling, loving, showing love for Donald Trump in New York City, right in the impossible blue state of New York, and rocked the house. Thousands of people outside. All the way down to filling up the streets, all the way over to Trump Tower on Fifth Avenue. Massive crowds in New York, right? And what a great rally it was. It was one of the few that I actually watched. I loved the speakers he had. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He pulled everybody. Tulsi Gabbard was there. Tucker Carlson was there. And a lot of other ones, Rudy Giuliani, and everybody else who was there. Fascinating, really. And also, and I kind of forgot about this when I hit the button to start, but Trump was also sat down with Joe Rogan for 3 hours. 3 hours. Joe Rogan said the guy never drank anything, and he never got up to take a piss. Those are the two observations he made about Trump. But what a great interview! I think if you had to pick the interview of the decade, right? The interview of the decade, where it used to be like mainstream media would interview someone on, for example, 60 Minutes or some other network, and ask basic questions and have a human conversation with a politician, which isn't possible anymore. They've dehumanized the whole system. If I had to pick one interview, is what I'm trying to say, that will stand the test of time, it will be that one. Rogan and Trump kicking it for 3 hours about who is Trump, who is Rogan, who are we as Americans. It was really, really, really brilliant. It was inspiring to watch. I watched the whole thing. I watched all 3 hours of it. So it was a really fascinating interview. I'm not going to talk about that today, but I want to get to the part of. I want to get to the MSG appearance. Also, J.D. Vance was on CNN, and he basically rubbed Jake Tapper's face in the mud. Fake news CNN. I don't know how they keep going. It's mind-boggling how people actually watch CNN for anything else but humor. I watch it sometimes just to laugh how ridiculous what they're saying is. For example, the Russia hoax. For years and years, they kept saying Russia, 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 but there was no evidence of any of it. And we know that anybody who descended from the Democratic Party became a Russian agent, they say. For example, Tulsi Gabbard. Everybody was dealing with Russia except the corrupt people who were saying it. So we'll look at these fascinating stories. Good morning, everybody in the chat. Weevil Girl in the house, champs. And censorship is in full steam ahead right now. The blob of censorship and war. Someone like me, I was, popular at one time. Does it mean that I suck now? Did I do something bad to make people not want to come here and see me? No, absolutely not. Right? When someone is rising, what happened with YouTube many years ago, in the heat the beginning of the massive censorship that we now understand to be true. I got kind of, bogged down by that. So when I look at an election like this and I say, well, who stands against this grotesque censorship that we see in the world, and why are they doing it? Right? I say that it's Trump who defends the right to speech, as opposed to the Democrats who oppose it and or want to criminalize speech and make everything cyberbullying. Right? That's who I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So this is my thumbnail today. These are the hits. I think the one that I want to play, and the surrogate speech. Tulsi Gabbard did a good job. Vivek Ramaswamy did great, but Tucker Carlson was exceptional, and RFK. When I play it, I want you to listen to what RFK says about the Democratic Party of the past, of the 60s. The party of John F. Kennedy Jr., his father, Robert F. Kennedy, and how it has changed and how it has become the party of war and censorship, when at that time it was the opposite. Right? Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has a very interesting perspective on that. We'll take a look at that. Marcus Conte, here we are. I have a website every morning, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, right here in the great United States. We're live, and we broadcast across these other platforms: Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Facebook, Twitter, Getter, Truth Social, and wherever else you might consume social media. Also, next week on, it looks like Tuesday, November 4, I forget what the fuck was the date. The dates are, the 4th is Monday. Yeah, Monday. This Monday, coming this Monday, we're going to be doing a public hearing at the Brooklyn Hospital Center. So at the New York Division of Human Rights, taking the Brooklyn Hospital Center to court. And it's a Zoom meeting. You can pop right in. So this is the front page of my website. I'm going to put the link right here. Meeting link will appear here right before it starts. All right, so you click here, and boom, you're in the meeting, and you get to watch. It's a hearing. It's a court hearing. You're going to hear opening statements. You're going to hear accusations. You're going to see the video. Get your white privilege out of here. Right? You can see the whole thing. Right? If they show up, and they don't. It's still a week before the hearing. Let's see if they play games and show up. But anyway, that hearing. Hopefully, we make precedents. And show that racism is real, and it's not just white people who do it against black people. It's like an inherent human quality, racism, and sometimes it comes out of people's mouths, and you see it, right? Like in the case of this guy. So we're going to look at that too. So let's start here. Camilla Harris is going to pop in.
Excuse me, miss. What do you do for work?
Hi, I'm Kamala Harris. I'm
oh my God!
I know that's me.
How's your campaign going?
Wait, I recognize you. You're Sassy Stassi. Oh my God, I love your TikTok. Have a good day.
Oh, do you want to talk to or say something to the American people?
You know, what you do for work, Sassy, is the most important job in America. You propel the nation forward through your videos. Everyone go vote blue.
Yeah, and what do you think about fracking?
What is that?
It's like the oil drilling. I think you said you supported it.
No.
How come she's not on Saturday Night Live? That's fucking hysterical, man. She's really. I love whoever she is doing this piece here. And so. What's this? This is J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance. Do we want to watch this? I don't know. There's something else in place of it. J.D. Vance. What else? I had a video set up here. I don't know what the fuck it was. Let's just go right to the polls. Right, so his latest polls, Monday, that's today, October 28th. Look at this. Pennsylvania, Trump up by 1, according to Inside Advantage. And McCormick Casey, a hotly contested Senate seat here in Pennsylvania, as hotly contested as Fetterman, who we're going to talk about in a second, who actually said he can't believe how popular Trump is in the great state of Pennsylvania, which I happen to be sitting in right now in the state of Pennsylvania. On Sunday, we have other polls too. It looks like, Trump in Arizona up by 2. In Montana, Trump by 19. Trump in Georgia by 2. Trump in South Carolina by 13. CBS, ABC, 2 corrupt organizations have Harris by 1 and Harris by 4. Washington Post, the fucking disgusting, fucking vile Washington Post, has Harris by 6 in Virginia. That's bullshit. Can't believe that, the Washington Post. New York Times has it a tie, calling it a tie. CNN, tie. Look, the polls. Trump said something fascinating in the in the Joe Rogan interview. Trump speculated that most of the polls are fake. That they don't even, that some of these pollsters, they take the $1 million and then they just make up numbers. They don't call anybody. And he backed it by saying, have you ever been polled? Has a pollster ever called you and asked you what you think of anything related to an election? And 99% of people will say no. So who exactly are they polling? So the polls are not only grossly, all over the place, but are they reliable? Are they real? That's the case. We'll still look at them. I used to like the exit polls until they stopped doing them. Exit poll is a poll of when people go in and vote, and you ask the people, who did you vote for? Right? Why don't you do exit polls now? You have mail-in ballots. Ask people. Walk around and ask people, who did you vote for? So anyway, so that's the polling right now. And here's the reality of it. Better than polls, follow the money. Follow the money. This is Donald J. Trump's stock, DJT, Trump Media and Technology Group, DJT, up 11% on Friday, and now after Rogan and after MSG, up another 7%, and it hasn't opened yet, 7%. Those are big numbers, right? So, as I've told you before, you follow the money, and here is the evidence, right, that the shit is going up, right, and the money is piling in, right. That's all you have to know, right. Where's the money going? Right? Look at this chart, right. 6 months. Look at that. Straight up from the bottom. $11. We're up to almost 40. We're topping 40. We're at 42 right now. Look at this number. $42 a share, going straight up, gapping up. Right? What was the high? The high was, it looks like 78. Right? When it just IPO'd, it went up to as high as 78. On that opening day, it went 56. From going even higher than 75. Absolutely nothing. And the real interest here is that for years people said, oh, Trump is only worth $3 billion and $2 billion or $5 billion or not even $1 billion. All right, well, now Trump owns almost 60% of the float, right? Which basically, the summary of this thing, where's the summary? Right? How much is it worth? Right? Right, this is the summary, right? The market cap is $7.7 billion. Trump owns half of that. So every time the stock goes up, right? When the stock goes up, the market capitalization increases because it's more money. So at some point, if this thing keeps going up, if this thing goes up like a Microsoft or a CNN or fucking, right, if it goes really high, like into the hundreds, Trump will become, arguably one of the richest people on the face of the earth, right, based on one stock, right? There's a lot of value in this for Trump, right? He's being quiet about it, but it's a unbelievable opportunity for him to prevail. So that's what's going on. In terms of polls, well, I can't really trust them anymore. I don't really believe CNN. I don't believe the manufacturers of these polls. I just don't believe it. They're too wild. They're too opinionated. They're too biased. Right? But what I do believe is the money. I believe that Wall Street will not put 2 cents up if they think they're going to lose it. And these kind of numbers, when you see 11% and 9% runs, sometimes before the market even opens, you know that the money's piling in, right? They're trying to get in. They're kicking themselves if they didn't get it at 12 and 10, right? Like some of us did. But that's it. Are we buffering? Are we buffering? Are we live? I'm live. I don't know about you guys. Are we live? Oh shit. Such a great machine. Are we what's up with audio? Are we good? The bad audio. What's wrong with my audio? My audio's fine. So we're getting chopped. Is that what's happening? Tower on Fifth Avenue. Massive crowds in New York. It seems like I'm working on this end. I don't know what's going on in the chat. Audio is breaking up. Bad audio. It has nothing to do with my end. Everything is perfect here. Right? So you're seeing this is censorship par excellence. I don't know. That's how it works, right? It looks like the recording. What I'm doing is recording. That you can't touch, right? Because I'm recording it here, right? So if you want to watch this and without broken audio. Some people are saying it's fine here. Some people are saying the audio is censored. Check your own audio because I think we're up and running. But we definitely have to be on guard with censorship. There's only one more week before the election. I don't know if I'll be here. I don't know if I'll get chopped out. They're already starting with the warnings. Warning, you're misinformation, right? They're going to start with that, right? Because they can't lose this election. There's so much. The Democrats are so fucking terrified of losing. Right? Also look at this. I'll talk about this another time. Saudi Arabia is building a $50 billion building. You can put 20 Empire State Buildings into the cube. There it is. Right? That's what it's going to look like. It's going to be a giant cube. Right? And you talk about American power, right? We don't have anything like this. Nothing like this. They're building entire fucking cities, right? Well, they're in the desert, right? But they're building these incredible structures. Look at this, waterfalls and right, amazing stuff that the Saudis are doing. $50 billion on a building. We'll talk more about that. Some other time. Let's talk about Madison Square Garden. So Trump's new coalition of MAGA Avenger allies gather to back their Captain America at Madison Square Garden. Is Trump Captain America? Is Trump Batman? Right? Who is Trump? Is Trump the Lone Ranger? The Lone Ranger? So Madison Square Garden, the greatest arena in the world, was packed to the rafters with patriotic Americans cheering on the formidable ensemble of Donald Trump, Captain America. I don't know if that's crazy, but here we are. Here's Trump in his backyard, literally. Madison Square Garden is 34th Street. Trump 34th Street and 7th Avenue. Trump lives on 55th and 5th Avenue. It's like, it's 10 blocks away. And Trump is a New Yorker. Trump knows the people there, right? He knows. Can Trump win New York? Can Trump win New York City? Can Trump win over New York? Well, I think so. He what was interesting too is Trump sided with Mayor Adams, right? That's groundbreaking right there, where Trump said that Eric Adams is because Eric Adams complained about the migrants ruining and shitting and pissing all over New York, right? Literally. And for that, they indicted him, right? And Trump called that. Trump called it about a year ago. He says, this guy's in trouble. He's going to get indicted. And he did. And so Trump extended a fig leaf to Eric Adams, and we'll see how he digests it, because Eric Adams is in a lot of shit right now, and it's because he spoke out, right? And hence, the bigger you are, the harder the hammer falls on your head. Like, little guys get swept under the rug, but big guys get thrown in jail sometimes, right? And but anyway, there's the let's see. So this is interesting here. John Fetterman, he's the senator, the incoherent senator. Remember, he got elected and he couldn't speak. He had a stroke. He seems to be bouncing back. He's calling Fetterman calls Trump's support in Pennsylvania astonishing. You can see the intensity. You really can, right? They have these Trump stores where you can walk in and buy Trump paraphernalia. You could buy hats, you could buy shirts and the big flags, right? This is happening right here in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania Democratic Senator John Fetterman opened up about the state of the presidential race in his key battleground state and called former Trump support there, quote, astonishing, while predicting that Elon Musk's endorsement is really going to really matter. It does matter, yeah, there's no doubt about it. Elon Musk was at Madison Square Garden as the Dark Avenger. So was Hulk Hogan. It wasn't Elon Musk kept it very brief. It wasn't his Butler PA appearance where he said that we're probably in the last election of our lifetime if Trump doesn't win. But here's Fetterman now on the record saying, I was doing an event in Indiana County, very, very red. And there was a superstore of Trump stuff. And it was 100 feet long. Dozens of T-shirts and hats and bumper stickers and all kinds of shit. What does this all come from? Where does it all come from? It's the kind of thing that has taken on its own life. Right? And it's like something very special exists there. Damn right. And that doesn't mean that I admire it. It's real, says John Fetterman. That was an honest thing that he said about it. So Fetterman sees it. And let's just jump right in. Let's jump right into R.F. Kennedy Jr. I'll play a little bit of Trump. We've heard Trump over and over again. He did a great job. He rocked the crowd for about a half an hour. But listen to RFK Jr.'s commentary, right? This is amazing. This is amazing stuff right here. Listen to this. Okay, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage former presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
I'm going to turn off the audio because they're playing. I think they're playing Eminem. They're playing some kind of music. I don't want to give anybody a reason to take it down or censor this video. That's what we have to do now. But there's Robert F. Kennedy. He's going to speak in a second. And let's listen. There we go. Listen to this.
Thank you, New York.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He's very humbled. You can tell Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is very humbled by this, but listen to what he says. Listen to how he puts the Democratic Party to rest. He puts it to rest. It's over.
A lot of people.
Dentists hate when you do this, but they can't stop.
We got to watch commercials. I'm so sorry about that. Let's go.
Asked me why I left the Democratic Party. And I say, I don't leave the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party left me.
Oh, man. When asked, why did you leave, he said, the Democratic Party left me. Fascinating. This guy's been around since day one. Right?
This is not the party anymore of Martin Luther King, of Robert Kennedy, of John Kennedy.
Nope.
That was the party of peace.
Yes.
It was the party of constitutional rights,
That's
of
right.
civil rights, of freedom of speech. It was the party that wanted to protect and nurture the middle class.
Yep.
It was the party that stood up to censorship, to surveillance, that stood up to the CIA, to the military complex, military-industrial complex. And it was the party that wanted to protect public health.
That's right.
And women's.
You could almost say that the Democratic Party represents the exact opposite now, right? How the pendulum swings, right? It swings left, it swings right. Right now, it's clearly swinging in the right direction, right? The right direction, right?
Sports.
Little girl announces, Tulsi Gabbard announced she's officially a registered Republican. I did see that. I saw that. Right? She's a Republican. Well, she's smart to do that. I think Tulsi is really jockeying for a position with Trump, and I think Trump will deliver this time. If Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who we're watching right now, doesn't become the health secretary, I don't know what's going on, because he's the right guy to do it. The Secretary of Climate or whatever position you give him, but you got to get him in there.
My uncle Ted Kennedy wrote Title IX, which protected women's sports in college. It was the party that believed in voting rights and fought for the right of every American to vote for the person of their choice.
That's right.
Today's Democratic Party is the party of war. It's the party of the CIA.
Yes.
You had Kamala Harris giving a speech at the Democratic Convention that was written by neocons, that was belligerent, pugnacious, that talked about the domination of the world by the United States through our weapons of war. It's the party today that wants to divide Americans. It's the party that is dismantling women's sports by letting men play women's sports.
Yep. This is the Democratic Party of our time. There's no doubt about it. They sold out to the, deep state, whoever, large corporations, right? They just take the money. There's no longer a moral compass in the Democratic Party, is what Robert F. Kennedy is saying. And then, because of the two-party system, it shifts to the other side, right? Luckily, people knock a two-party system, but it does have a built-in mechanism to fix itself. But Trump has to win, right? That's basically what has to happen.
It's the party of Wall Street. It's the party of Bill Gates, who just gave $50 million to Kamala Harris. It's the party. And the Harris campaign is very proud that it received the endorsement of 50 former CIA agents and officers.
Hillary Clinton is a CIA officer. Everybody knows that. Hillary Clinton is involved with the CIA, right? That's why she lies so consistently and so parallel to everything that comes out of the FBI and CIA. She seems to know it before it comes out. She's CIA.
And of John Bolton, and of Dick Cheney.
Yep.
These are the people that gave us the war in Iraq, the worst foreign policy catastrophe that's ever happened to this country. These are the people that gave us the Patriot Act, that launched the surveillance state.
Yep.
These are the people that are trying to undermine voting rights in this country.
Yes.
By weaponizing the federal agencies against political candidates, including me and Donald Trump and all other political candidates.
And all the little people underneath who just simply speak their mind and get fucking disappeared. Right?
Win an election. And instead of bringing in a candidate who wins the primaries, abolish the primaries, and then pick two candidates, anointed them without receiving votes.
That's
we don't even know. how Kamala Harris received the nomination.
We don't even know how Kamala Harris received the nomination. Have you ever stopped to think about that? That the Democratic Party is rallying behind someone who nobody voted for. And in 2020, nobody liked her. Now, on the other hand, Kamala Harris was on the winning ticket, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. She is the sitting vice president, so one could argue that she was duly elected as vice president. Right? So, but to win the nomination of her party, historically, the people have to do that and decide that, and that did not happen this time. That's unbelievable, right? We saw hints of it in 2016 with Bernie Sanders, how he was hatcheted, and it's gotten worse and worse and worse to the point of maybe they'll never have another primary again. Why bother?
And this is the party of Wall Street, of big banks, of big data, of big tech, of the military contractors, and the parties of big pharma, big ag, big food, and big chemicals. It is the party that's given us the sickest children in the history of the world. When my uncle was president, 6% of Americans had chronic disease, and we spent 0 on chronic disease in this country.
Listen to that statistic. When his uncle was the president, 1960s, 6% of children had chronic disease. Listen to this.
Is very proud that it received the endorsement of 50 former CIA agents and officers.
Listen to the health statistic one more time.
And of John Bolton.
Oops, I went too far
and of
back.
Dick Cheney. These are the people that gave us the war in Iraq.
Yep.
The worst.
Take a look at this kid holding a smartphone. You might think it's just innocent screen time, but there's an invisible threat you need.
Foreign policy catastrophe that's ever happened to this country.
Yeah.
These are the people that gave us the Patriot Act.
Yeah.
That launched
the
surveillance state. These are the people that are trying to undermine voting rights in this country by weaponizing the federal agencies against political candidates, including me and Donald Trump and all other political candidates that can't win an election. And instead of bringing in a candidate who wins the primaries, abolish the primaries.
Yes.
And then pick 2 candidates, anointed them without receiving votes.
Yeah.
We don't even know how Kamala Harris received the nomination.
Nope. Here we are, right now already.
And this is the party of Wall Street, of big banks, of big data, of big tech, of the military contractors.
I'm sorry we had to listen to this again, but I want to get to the point where he talks about the health crises in America, because I think that's where Robert F. Kennedy is going to fit in the Trump administration.
And the parties of big pharma, big ag, big food, and big chemicals. Is the party that's given us the sickest children in the history of the world.
The sickest children in the history of the world. Can you believe that? That America has the sickest children in the history of the world? Listen to the statistic.
When my uncle was president...
He's talking about John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy Jr., who got shot in the head.
6% of Americans had chronic disease.
6% of Americans had chronic disease.
We spent 0 on chronic disease in this country.
6% of Americans.
Today, 60% of Americans have chronic disease.
60% now have chronic disease. Tenfold, from 6 to 60. Right? That's unbelievable, right? That's an unbelievable statistic, right? From the 60s, we're getting unhealthy. right, as a nation. Some of us are getting healthier, like me. I'm going out and running in a few minutes.
This is existential for our country. We're spending $4.3 trillion a year, 5 times our military budget. 77% of American boys cannot qualify for military service because of chronic disease diagnoses.
Wow. 77% of kids can't get into the military, right, because they're fucked up. They're obese. They've got, they've been getting shot up with Ritalin and Adderall since they're 2, and now they're fucking shaking. Right? So 77% of kids can't get into the military. They can't pass the physical examination. That is fucking unbelievable.
This is existential for our country.
It is. Is it true? Yes, it is true. It is true. Just look around you. Go to the grocery store and look at the kids.
President Trump
look at the people.
Called me after 3 hours after his shooting. And he said, would I come and sit down with them? And he said to me during that meeting, he said, there are some things that we can agree on and some we disagree on, but the landscapes on which we agree are so much larger.
They are.
He said, I want to end the wars.
End the wars. No more war. No more war.
I want to end this surveillance and censorship.
No more censorship.
I want to protect the Constitution.
Protect it.
I want to protect freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech.
I want to end the surveillance.
Yes.
I want to end the weaponization of government against American politicians.
Yep.
And I want to end the chronic disease epidemic.
I want to end the chronic disease epidemic. That's Trump telling him what he wants.
How?
How?
Don't you think that we deserve a president in this country who's going to restore the moral authority of the United States of America?
Yes.
Don't you think that we deserve a president who's going to end the warfare state and rebuild the middle class?
The warfare state, he called it. He didn't even call it welfare. He called it, we're not even the welfare state anymore. We'll call the warfare state. Wow, great line.
Oh, you want a president who's going to put America first? And don't you want a president who's going to protect our children? And who's going to protect women's sports? And who's going to stop dividing this country along racial lines? And don't you want a president who's going to end the corruption at the federal agencies?
Yes.
At FDA.
Robert Kennedy is talking about cleaning house, right? He's talking about a very, very corrupt Democratic Party, right? And the Republicans share the corruption in many ways. But I think Trump transcends a lot of that old-fashioned Republican rhetoric. The new Republican Party is here. It's Robert F. Kennedy Jr., it's Tulsi Gabbard, it's Vivek Ramaswamy, it's Tucker Carlson, it's Rudy Giuliani. That's it's J.D. Vance, right? That's the new that's the new Republican Party. That old Republican Party you're talking, well, you think you remember, is gone. The party of Dick Cheney and Bush, and it's gone. The shit is over.
At NIH, at CDC, and at the CIA. And don't you want a president who's going to make America healthy again?
Yes. I actually see a great opportunity for the Democrats the next time around. If they lose here and Trump establishes America as a, if Trump makes America great again, I think that the Democrats would have a shot at, reorganizing. Once they lose the backing, once they lose the financial backing, the corporations pumping money into their elections, I think you'll get a new wave of more realistic more grounded human beings to infiltrate the Republican Party, and also people like Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi. They'll eventually die off. They're not going to live forever. Right? They start to die. Right? They go away.
And don't you want a president who's going to make America great again?
I do.
And we need to go to the polls on November 5th and vote for Donald Trump. God bless you and God bless America.
That was awesome. That was really, really amazing. Let's go to, I think next up is Tucker Carlson. There he is. Tucker Carlson. I want to clip out the music because the music gets struck. And that's a reason how YouTube will say, oh, you can't play that video because you stole the music. I didn't steal the fucking music. I didn't steal the music. All I did was play it. Play the video.
Rally. It's a realignment. It's unbelievable. The fact that it's here.
Hold on a second.
Bobby Kennedy Jr. at a Donald Trump rally in Madison Square Garden. I mean, what?
Fascinating.
That's totally normal. Liz Cheney's out there with Kamala Harris. And there's Bobby Kennedy calling to protect women's sports at a Trump rally. It's a realignment.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And the fact that it's here is even sweeter. Imagine if you're, and just pause for one moment. Imagine you're Donald Trump. You're from New York City. You become famous in New York City. You make your fortune in New York City. And all of a sudden, the leadership of New York City decides they're going to destroy you.
Yeah.
Because they don't like your politics. And so yeah, boo. Imagine if that were you, though. And they try and take everything that you have. They try and put you in prison. They try and put your children in prison. If that happened to you, how often do you think you'd be going back to New York City?
Not often.
How about never? And yet he's here. It's like getting thrown out of a bar. And you think to yourself, well, all my friends are in the bar. And you approach the door and there's the bouncer like, you're not allowed in here. But from behind the bouncer, you hear the cheers of your friend, come on in! And the bouncer hangs his head in shame. He's embarrassed that he's working for the man trying to keep the most popular person out of the bar.
Yep.
And that's Donald Trump back in the city that produced him with no embarrassment at all in a room full of his friends.
That's right.
The stones that takes, the bravery that takes is incredible.
Stones.
Donald Trump's going to win. He's going to win.
It looks like it.
I know that that's true. Why is Donald Trump going to win? The people he's about to defeat have no idea. And they're panicked. They have no idea why people like Donald Trump. And their first theory was, well, Donald Trump is evil, so
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how fucking stupid people are. This is Jake Tapper. Watch this.
Dean Ryder lied the American people into war. Well, he encouraged it. He wrote for misstating how he delivered this news to the Atlantic. By a campaign.
So you made it up?
Before something goes out there. No,
there's no evidence.
Based on people that I've talked to in the Trump administration,
sure, John
about
Bolton,
what John Kelly wanted to do.
There's
the same people who were wrong about Iraq. They were wrong about the quagmire in Afghanistan. They were wrong about Syria. They were wrong about everything. And now they're coming after Donald Trump because he actually has a realistic and cautious foreign policy.
I'm talking about people who worked for Donald Trump in his first administration. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about not just John Kelly, but Mark Milley, who was the Trump-appointed chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Who disobeyed Trump's direct orders on troop redeployments in Syria.
And I'm talking...
Jake Tapper can't hear the facts that J.D. Vance is telling him, right? Trump fired a lot of these jerk-offs because they were disobeying the rule, the order. They were telling Trump, the president of the United States, what he should do. And Trump was like, no, I don't think I want to do that. I want to do this. And for that, he had to fire him. He eventually fired him. And then they all run over to HarperCollins and, get $2 million to write a book about their their horrible interactions with Donald Trump, their violent interactions. It's all bullshit.
About the guy that had your job.
But that's all Jake Tapper knows, right? That's all he knows.
A massive violation of his constitutional oath, by the way.
I'm talking about the guy that had your job before Donald Trump's spin. HR
can't afford groceries.
We're actually
Can we talk about the fact that Americans can't afford the cost of housing? Can we talk about the fact that a lot of people out there in Erie, Pennsylvania, they're the ones who suffer and die when people like Mark Esper and Mark Milley don't obey the commander-in-chief's orders.
We're talking about Donald Trump and what he said.
Yes.
And Donald Trump says...
And you'd much rather talk about what Donald Trump allegedly said than what Donald Trump did in office. What he did in office, Jake.
This is interesting about the enemy within. Jake Tapper's trying to make some bizarre fucking argument about the enemy within. It's ridiculous.
Publicly,
1.5% inflation.
The military to go after the enemy within, which is the American people.
He did not say that.
Nobody's ever said that. That's just a CNN make-believe fucking line.
That, Jake, he said that he was going to send the military after the American people. Show me the quote where he said
was going to. He said the enemy within.
The enemy within. See?
And far left lunatics. He's talking about people rioting
and shifts.
He's talking about people rioting after the election.
It's so ridiculous, right? Jake Tapper, he's trying to make these arguments of, just innuendo that Trump throws out there. It's just ridiculous.
I think
Pelosi's were rioting after.
All right, I don't really want to. It's giving me a headache. So how's Trump stock? Oh my God, we're up 8%. What's the 44? Look at this. Go. We're up 13. All right, you can believe what you want to believe, but this is what I see right here. Trump media, $44.07 a share, skyrocketing. This is what the money thinks of Trump. Up 5 points this morning, gapping up, right? And we're not done yet. It's still going up. So these are the facts. What else about the overall market? Markets are healthy. Look at this. Dow Jones Industrial Average up 309. S&P 500 up 27, NASDAQ up 107 right now. So these are outstanding numbers a week before an election. McDonald's is coming back up 6 this morning to $2.99. It's not so bad. They bashed McDonald's over the E. coli because Trump supported McDonald's, and suddenly McDonald's had a E. coli investigation. Right? People dead. Right. What else? So the market's healthy. Everything is green right now, totally green. So that's all I really have right now. I want to. I'm interested in. I feel like I didn't talk about the Joe Rogan experience as much as I should have. I do think that interview right there. As people digest it, I would encourage everybody to watch it. Joe Rogan interviewing Trump for 3 hours. And you really understand who Trump is. You understand that he's this entertainer guy from New York who is not just an entertainer, but he was a developer, a property developer. How he interacted with all the New York people at the time, Giuliani and such, and in the real estate business, and you realize that he's not at all the things that the Democratic Party tries to say he is, the fascist, so I think that's a monumental interview. I think in 20 or 30 years, when we look back and we try to say, well, who is Donald Trump? They're going to look to that interview. How did Trump win? Why did people like him? They're going to look to that Joe Rogan interview where Trump goes balls to the wall for 3 hours with one of the most, successful podcasters of our time, the most successful podcaster of our time. So that's all I got today, and I'll see you guys Monday. What's the day? Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'll see you guys on Wednesday, and we'll do it again. Let's see. For now, Mark Scante reporting.